I'm Tracy King, the program coordinator here for this department, so we can begin. Sorry, I was doing an interview for KGNS outside. Attendance is first, right? Sure.
Roll, yeah.
Your, okay. I'm just going to do a roll call really quickly. Mr. Jesus Martinez.
Here.
Mr. Peter Venegas.
Here.
Mr. Ruben Martin.
Here.
Mrs. Madalena G. De Leon. Mr. Richard Gonzalez.
Here.
Mr. Russell Jordan. Mr. Judd Gilpin.
Present.
Ms. Laura Yanis. Here.
All right. Our first item here is minutes from last time. Doesn't have a date. I don't see any minutes here, so we
Motion approved.
may. Okay. I don't even know if I do it here.
No.
That might just be a copy from a previous meeting anyway. I guess we'll just forego that until we get sometimes we catch up on the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So, under citizen communications, I guess that would depend on whether or not anybody's brought something here. Is there something that's not on our agenda that needs to be presented tonight, you know? Something. Is there anything extra? Okay. Do any of our committee members have anything to add?
Oh.
Alright. Discussion and possible action on the Love Laredo Bag It Green campaign.
I'm just going to do a short presentation on this new campaign, new movement that we started. And this is in response, obviously, most of you know that the Texas Supreme Court overruled our ordinance. So this is in response to that. We want to make sure that businesses continue giving the either giving the reusable bag, or they have that option still to either give it to sell the bag, or they may have the option to not provide a bag. We want to make sure that they stay the course and they don't issue these t-shirt plastic bags, so that we can continue seeing our city clean as it has been for the past 3 years. A lot of people are already used to taking their reusable bags, so we want to keep it that way. We do have a new campaign, this new movement. It is comprised of city officials, it has nonprofit organizations, civic groups, a lot of volunteers. Most of this organization is on volunteers. They come in and they're very passionate about this issue. So, I mean, it's great feedback that we've received.
So the way it works now is it's just being promoted as something a business can do voluntarily.
Right, exactly. And we just started this actually. This ruling happened in June. So we undertook this measure probably a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks after that. And I just want to show you a little bit of what we've already done to help out with this movement. So as you all know, we started this organization, this movement, and it's voluntary basis. And we have a website up already that they can actually go into our website and just take a pledge. A pledge it's fairly simple, and I'll show you right now how it looks. You write your name down, name of business, address, phone number, email. It just basically, it says my company commits to the citywide Love Laredo Bay campaign. They can even make a tax-deductible donation if they would like as well, so we have that option available. Also, we have a tab where we've already input some members of the big club, of the Bag It Green. That's the acronym for Bag It Green, big, for the club. So we already have retailers, organizations, we have families, we have individuals, we have restaurants, we have businesses. So even though it didn't affect restaurants, this ordinance, we've already, they wanted to pledge and they want to be part of this movement. So we do give them that exposure there to show who's been active, and that's there's been more people. We just need to update it. If they do pledge to not provide plastic bags, we give them a certificate of participation something like this signed by John and Trisha, and we frame it, we have it framed, and then we give them, they can post it on their store if they want to, if they like. And then we have a decal proud member of the big club, the Bag of Green Club, just to show the community and show people that go into the store that they're part of this movement and that they won't be giving out a plastic bag. So that's something we've done for them already. And they've already, I know they posted on Facebook yesterday that they've already taken pictures and they've already presented these stores with them, and the stores actually love it. They post on in their wall and they hang it on there, and they post their decal as well. We actually have social media accounts out there that are run by volunteers. We've done challenges. I'll show you a challenge right now. We've done a lot of PSAs, interviews that promoting this movement. There has been a lot of volunteers that on their free time composed it for us, and we have airtime on it. PAC has been also very, very good in helping us do that, the public access channel for the city. We have a social media challenge. We've received a lot of donations from stores, like, for example, this one was Miss Tina Trevino from Trevino Eye Clinic. She donated 2 Ray-Ban sunglasses, estimated value of like $300 sunglasses. So what we did was we thought, okay, well, let's do a challenge. We got on Facebook and we told the community, all you need to do is submit a picture of a selfie, you and a reusable bag as a selfie, to share our page and to tag 3 of your friends, so your friends can also see the post. So once we had all those names, we ended up doing a little raffle. We took out a name, and someone actually ended up winning this pair of sunglasses. They were super happy. It's a great incentive for the people. So we have another one coming up actually very soon. We're trying to do it once a month, twice a month. We also have the signage on our metro buses. And they also have the website there, visit laredo.org, take the pledge, Bag of Green. We have it in Spanish, of course. So we have that going on in our buses to promote the movement as well. This is one of the, some Girl Scout troops also participated in one of the PSAs, the Laredo Environmental Summit. We will be having a group of high school kids next month on October 10th, a breakout session where they will be also quoting and doing a PSA for the Laredo Bay campaign as well. So we're very active. And these are just pictures to show how it did really affect, plastic bags really did affect our city. It was a real issue and it was a problem, and we have seen a major change, and from all aspects. Even I'll show you right now pictures of the recycling center, our vacuum trucks. We have seen a major difference in these 3 years. So we want to keep it. We want to make sure it stays that way. So our plastic bags would get stuck in the vacuum truck's filter compartment, causing the truck to lose suction, and these bags had to be removed manually, and filters are washed and cleaned. So this happened quite a bit when we did have the plastic bags. This is a picture from one of the vac truck drivers. Now he's an environmental specialist at the MS4. We also had plastic bag issues at the recycling facility. Plastic bags, they're not recyclable through our city's program because they're not able to be processed by the machinery in the recycling facility. They would get caught in the mechanisms and they would cause the machine to shut down. And it was a very rough process because they had to manually be taken out at the facility. So it would waste a lot of time and resources, and someone would have to actually go in there and take out these plastic bags. So it is something that did affect us. We would see a lot of plastic bags in our storm drains. So once the vacuum truck cleans these storm drains out, it should look like that, but not always. And now, just talking to them and speaking to them, they haven't seen plastic bags. I mean, rarely do they see plastic bags now because of the ordinance. So we hope to keep it that way. That's the big issue. So this is our before pictures, and these are our after pictures. I know a lot of people thought that they were fake or photoshopped, but no, I actually took these pictures, so so they're real. They're real. And yesterday I actually presented a proposal at the STDC meeting, and we got a grant. They awarded it yesterday for $19,428.60, and this is to continue to support the Laredo Big Initiative and purchase promotional items to distribute to the public through community events. So we will be receiving those funds, and we're going to use those funds for more reusable bags, for bumper stickers, for decals, for more airtime, so that we can continue the movement and stay the course and not go back to what we used to have. And advise the public, like I say, it's okay. I know we have calls here at the environmental department that the businesses are confused. People go in there and they're like, well, you need to give me a plastic bag. They're mad, and citizens are mad, and they call. No, they need to give us a plastic bag. We want our bags for our trash cans, and we want to put our little plastic bags. And no, the businesses actually don't have to go back to plastic bags. So we want to make sure it stays that way. They can actually they can have the plastic bag, and if someone asks for it, yes, they're allowed to give it to you now. But we want to prevent that, so we want to make sure that businesses know you can just stay the course and not go back to plastic bags.
What have you noticed on the convenience stores? Do they tend to not use plastic bags as much anymore, or still want to?
Convenience stores, actually, we've noticed that some are giving the plastic bags.
Stripes just paper.
Those are some notes from
those places. I bet you they've got to be the biggest source of the ones that are out there.
Yes.
Take them out. I mean, it's
yes.
the oddest thing. I've been in other communities where they ask you if you want one. And long before we're messing with it here in Laredo, like we get up around Austin and we just ask you to use a plastic bag. And it's so silly that somebody would walk up with an item in hand and then put a plastic bag and put one item and walk outside.
It's a gum. It's a little packet of gum, and they'll put a plastic bag and give it to you like that. So, and these are notes from our Monday meeting. We had a Laredo big meeting on Monday, and those are some of the stores that we're targeting. And we haven't seen a big difference in people giving the plastic bags at the moment. We haven't, but we don't want it to get to a point where everyone starts to give them out, because the community wants them, and we want to just remind everyone that you don't need to ask for that. Other cities, I know if you're not familiar, we have Austin, Sunset Valley, Port Aransas, Laguna Vista, Fort Stockton, Eagle Pass, Corpus Christi, Brownsville, Kermit, South Padre Island. These are other cities that were affected by this turnover by the Supreme Court. I did speak to the city of Austin. The city of Austin wanted to see what we were doing about it. So I did mention this Love Laredo Big campaign. They loved the idea. He wanted to do something maybe like a Love Austin Big campaign, maybe become Love Texas Big campaign, Bag of Green. We don't know to the extent that it will get to, but the idea is out there. I think we're the first city that has actually done something very proactive and very big for this continuation. So hopefully they follow our steps, and maybe you'll see a Love Texas Big in the future.
All right, any questions?
I have a question. Do you share this with those community members, or do you have it on the public access channel?
My presentation at the moment, no, we don't. We can share it with public access, and they definitely can help us promote it and share that information.
And those bags are free to the public, or how do they get
Oh
them?
yes, definitely.
Where do they pick them up? Or
We've done community events. Right now, what our volunteers and the movement is doing is they're going out and distributing bags, or when they give a certificate, they get a decal, they get a bag. I've given out, probably over, since I started 5 years ago, maybe over 100,000 bags. Giving out. Of course, we're not selling these bags. We're giving them out. And we try to limit it per family, but of course at the events that we go to, it's usually people that are the ones that need it, right? They don't want to spend 50 cents, $1 on a reusable bag, so we'll give them 2 or 3, and especially if it's a big family or something like that. The community events that we participate in, and there's coming up, and I have some schools coming up, and we continue giving the reusable bags out. National Night Out's coming up, the Recycles Day Fair, Environmental Summit. A bunch of fall festivals are coming up, so we always promote the bag, and we always give the reusable bag.
So I'm trying to look at on the site on Facebook. It's Laredo Bag of Green.
Love Laredo Big.
Love Laredo Big.
Find it through there. Just the response to that. Did you find it? A lot of they are volunteering their time, and we meet up, of course, after hours, and they want to do this. I mean, because they're really fun. Did you find it?
Yeah, so this is the video you just showed us? This is video?
Oh no, I
No, that's just a PowerPoint presentation.
yeah, this
That's just
presentation.
the Facebook.
Oh.
I created this presentation just to show.
But this one is actually a video, something related to it? I mean, so that I can share.
Oh, it's a, yeah, sure. It's a commercial. We've done commercials, we've done PSAs, and they're on there. Yes. There's still a lot more to come. We have our schedule of new PSAs coming. I know at the summit we're going to do a PSA with the high school kids, and there's a lot of more future ideas for that, and topics and subjects that we're going to discuss with the schools. We're going to try to get the schools more involved. I mean, even though the schools at ISUSD, they're not the ones that are giving out these bags. It's good for the kids and the students to go back home and tell their parents that, and they're the example. My 6-year-old daughter is always like, Mom, your bags. And I guess since I've worked here and she's come out with me in some commercials like 5 years ago, she was like 2 years old. Now she's all about the bags. So it's just all about the kids and being a role model for them, and they see what you do. So.
And what's the deal with HEB? They already agreed that they're not gonna go back to old bags or what?
HEB has not given the plastic bags out, but that's something that we're
I'm
not
talking
sure.
about storage, because they still sell those thick plastic bags.
They're setting the 25-cent bag right.
But have they committed to not going back to the old bags?
We're still trying. We're going to get a meeting with the city manager and all these retailers so that we can try to get a group and a commitment from these retailers. Because at the moment we haven't gotten a verbal or.
Lowe's is already in the plastic bag.
Who's?
Lowe's, you know, when you go through the self-checkout, they already got the bags there.
They're one of the ones we're targeting. We're targeting the bigger retailers, right?
And I think Walmart too. Doesn't Walmart already have?
Walmart never really stopped.
They never.
Paper bags.
They have paper.
They do.
Paper bags, right?
They charge 10 cents now.
Is it?
For bags.
Too afraid to walk in Walmart.
So that's in the process right now, getting all these retailers and businesses together for a meeting with city management. To have a
Yeah, I was just curious, because I went to HEB in San Antonio on Sunday, and they were giving out those full plastic bags.
Well, HEB never had an ordinance.
No, they're
They've always,
here.
yeah. Oh, here, I'm sorry.
No, they're in San Antonio.
Yeah.
San Antonio never had the
Yeah.
ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, but I was curious as to why they haven't gone back to the old bags, especially since all the other HEBs have the old bags.
Here in Laredo,
Yeah, in Laredo, the HEBs don't give out the old
They
bags.
make a lot of money on those 25 cents a bag.
They save X amount of tens of thousands of dollars not buying plastic bags and make tens of thousands of dollars selling.
And that's their advertising budget.
You know, double dip.
So city management's gonna approach the corporate HEB or the local?
we've called the local HEBs, but we have to speak to corporate.
It all comes down from the arsenal.
Yeah.
They call it the arsenal.
The corporate, yeah, it has to be through corporate, so the district managers, some of them don't live in Laredo. That's the I guess the challenge right now is if they're from out of town, we have to figure out a date where everyone can meet, and that's been what I've been doing right now at the moment. Getting that meeting together, trying to get it together. For them to either have a commitment or see what we can do with these retailers. We haven't seen a lot of plastic bags. I mean, we haven't seen a big difference. It's only been 3 months, but we just don't want to see that in the future.
Go back to where it
People
was.
are right.
You probably don't wanna see this, but, you find a lot of animals that are killed
Oh,
and
yeah.
affected by this, and it's kind of morbid looking, but it's very real.
It's very real, right?
So I don't know if you want to include that.
Oh yes, we do.
Huge animal advocacy, and if they saw something like that,
Since also it affects, we're a border city, we have the river. It ends up in our waterways, it ends up in our creeks, it ends up emptying out into our river, so that's where we have our aquatic life there as well, and it affects everyone. Lots of the environment.
You're really nice.
Thank you. I just wanted to show that it doesn't only affect our environment outdoors, but I mean inside our equipment. These very expensive trucks that we have, these vacuum trucks, these plastic bags were getting stuck in the compartments. Now they haven't seen that. Now they haven't experienced that. But at the MRF, at the recycling facility, all the plastic bags were getting stuck in the machinery, causing it to break down. So then what happens? It slows down the entire recycling process, where they have to stop, take out manually all these plastic bags, and it has to be done twice a day from the information I got from the recycling center.
So it's still happening.
At the moment, not as much. No. It's been a big
When they
reduction.
initiated this whole thing and gave us the blue can, they said, do not put in the plastic trash bag.
Right. We can't. Yeah. We don't recycle plastic bags. We don't put them in the blue bin.
They're not compliant.
Does anyone have any more questions?
Good program. Or get it out of Laredo.
Yeah.
I mean, I got used to not having bags.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
I'll take 2 trips in and out to the first stop of a strike.
Yeah, and it's mostly those convenience stores and the bigger retailers that. But it's great that other organizations and businesses have agreed to not. Those even the smallest boutiques are saying no. We're not getting plastic bags. And they give their paper bags with handles, or they give a reusable bag, actual reusable bag. It costs them money, I'm sure, but it looks nicer for their store. I think they like having their logo on that bag. But it's a process. We're just starting. It just started, and we have a long way to go. So I mean, we're not giving up. Like just because the Texas Supreme Court, ruled against it, we are still continuing to fight for it. We can't enforce it, but we can promote it, and we can continue with the support of all the volunteers and everyone we've encountered that come here and say, well, no, we don't want the plastic bag. You'd be surprised of all the support we want from it. Yeah. Trisha Cortez has been great also. She's like the drive for it. So hopefully we continue. If you all want to put your name in the pledge, you can go ahead and do
I've
that.
got a couple of things. I had somebody call from this office, asking me to think of some things that affect the environment. I've come up with a couple of things. We're done with this, right?
Yeah, I guess I don't be at our next meeting, so what do you have?
Well, one is the price of aluminum. I've been collecting aluminum for 10 years, at least at the ranch, and I have a big bin. It's about 6 feet tall. And fill it up every year, and it's 100 pounds. And I filled it up, me and my son. It took us 45 minutes to shovel them in this 55-gallon bags, and I bought it. They gave me $17. It ain't worth it. And it's just fighting John or Fila and everybody at the ranch. Don't throw it in that can. Throw it in this can, the beer can. Mine are Pepsi
Where
cans.
did you take it?
Yeah, sure they're all pissed. Mine were the Coke cans. Well, just wherever. There's only one game in town, isn't there?
Yeah, I guess.
But so when I was with that bin, I would make $80. $80, and it's worth it, whatever. $80 is $80, but now $17
For your son is
and then possibly one of them flies out on the highway.
I wonder why it's so low.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, I already took my can away. I ain't doing it anymore. It's not worth it. $17 is not worth it.
I guess the price of aluminum is
Last year it was $25, and I dropped my phone there, and some dude got it and ransomed it for $25. Like the $25 that I made at the aluminum was dame para los tacos. Shit, so there went last year I didn't even make a penny on it. I mean,
Well, I know that we discussed doing like.
is there any way the city can, develop some corner places where they can pay a little more, where people, it's not worth it. Even the poor people that are out there that, save aluminum cans. Come on. I mean, mine was the whole back of my truck full. Tons of cans. And I see the people with a little trash bag, I'm like, How much are they getting now? It'd be working for them,
Yeah.
you know, for 20 cents.
That might be something to look into. I wonder
I
why.
mean, it's gone from $80 to $17 over the last 4 years.
Because I thought.
Is that a national thing though?
And I save about the same amount of cans every year.
Price of aluminum is going up.
I thought so too.
That's the thing. There's no more games in town. There's one game in town, you know. And it's come down so much.
More than one place.
Yeah, but they're all owned by the same person, I think.
Maybe so.
Well, there's a business to open up.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, and I feel bad because I'm on the board, but I'm not going to save cans for $17.
No, not for the amount of work.
The hell did I go through? I mean, it's a whole fight with all my drunk friends. Put it in this can,
That was
please. I'm
our
going
goal.
to pick them out of the trash.
Yeah. Imagine if they paid, because Laredo is composed of a huge, 80%,
I mean, you know, lower poverty.
Yeah.
Lower poverty, you know.
if they were to pay for plastic somehow, or do they?
They pick up everything and recycle it, you know.
And if they knew about it, because I think you're right about the aluminum, but this really dead broke people are
They
collecting
pick
them.
it up. They pick all their trash up.
They do, except plastic bags. Is there any way?
I don't think they recycle
There's a
those
way
plastic
where
things,
that's the
right?
problem.
No, they're
Only
not, we
the
don't have them in the bill.
bottles and stuff.
In the building.
Like
Because
these
of
bottles,
that.
they
Right.
Now is that only because Laredo's machinery, or is that doesn't support the plastic bags, or is that like nationally that like
I'm not- I
this
can
sort of
ask the-
machinery just doesn't support that sort of flimsy material?
I'm not sure. I can ask the recycling facility.
I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
All these other cities that do recycle plastic bags, is their machinery more up to date than ours? Or?
Do they? That actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It might be more because, it's those obviously they don't have heat, they're not heated, so they don't melt the plastic
Right.
bags immediately. They get stuck in them.
Yeah.
Maybe the other machines have heat.
Right.
They're
I just
heated,
think,
and the bags will
Yeah.
stick. They
It's
get
like-
staring, they start melting immediately.
Like, what is it? Glass stuff? We don't know. Glass.
Glass, we don't know.
No, glass we don't.
We don't.
But across the country,
Yeah, you'll see them about Minnesota.
you recycle glass.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to what's specific about our machinery that things like glass and plastic.
And that's interesting.
Seems pretty-
And I know this seems like, but it is out of the box. Other countries, their recycling is completely different than what we do in the United States. But I know it requires some money, and I can share some of those ideas. But they don't have these problems
No. Well, we need to do something with the aluminum because I feel like aluminum is a big
because we've got
contributor to the
landfills,
environment.
and that's a whole other topic, sort of. But there's other ways, and they convert it into energy and this sort of thing. But we're not there.
No.
No, it's a country we're not there.
No, and that was also another one. The second one I wanted to bring up was I was watching the New York News, and they've got an actual law that if you leave a truck idling, they're going to fine you, and it's a big fine. It's a $400 fine, and they have, I think, anybody that wants to sign up can walk, can go around New York and they see a truck idling or a vehicle idling, boom, they write them up a ticket, just citizens, and they're making $45,000 a year just writing tickets. They get a 20% off that ticket, and I hear it's not going to be
I
that.
need 20% off.
They give them like, if they write a ticket to your UPS truck, you're going to the UPS truck, and you leave it idling to go deliver something on the 20th floor of the building, right? They see your truck idling, boom, they write it up, give you a ticket, and off the ticket that you have to pay, they make 20% off of that
Who
ticket.
makes
The citizen writing the ticket,
this all?
but they're trained, they go through a 1 week class.
That's what.
They have that here for the handicapped, I think.
They must have a way. They must have a way in modern times to document with
With the idling.
so that it's because just having some ordinary citizen writing tickets for profit, it seems like you have to have somebody to prove it.
Oh, they have proof. It's all video. They have to have 1 minute of video.
That is so good.
They have to have 1 minute, that's their proof. If you have 1 minute of video of the truck idling, you get that money, that 20% off that ticket.
That's a great incentive.
And everybody's got a phone now.
Well,
But that one brought to me more in mind was more like of our traffic, and our traffic is environmental also, because when you sit at a red light, and mine is on 359, my biggest, problem is 359. I hit this one light every time, and it's coming out of neighborhoods, and I'm coming back from the ranch at 10 o'clock, and I'm sitting there going, are you kidding me? One car to stop 50 to 100 cars. So those cars are sitting at that light, and that's a 2-minute light, and it's 50 or 100 cars idling for one car coming out, and everybody, And I'll call some friends of mine that work at City. Oh, that's textile. Everybody goes into textile. Well, I don't think 59 is textile anymore.
We're all really good at doing this.
Yes, they're deflecting. It's always a deflection, you know. I'm like, and it's just too much. I mean, now on the loop, it's a big boulevard. You see it on the newspaper on the letter to the editor. But it should just be the 20 Boulevard. And it's not a loop anymore.
But I read somewhere where they talked about that it was against the law to have your car idling, and I remember specifically because there's people who park in the parking garage at the West County Justice Center and they leave their truck idling. And the exhaust fumes go inside that parking garage, and the people that are in charge, they don't say anything.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but like a lot of the new cars now, they're all coming out with these new transmissions. That if your car is idling, the
It's electric.
Yeah, transmission. It's not electric anymore. It's pure gas.
It's like a lawnmower.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you call it? A golf cart. That dies.
That if you're at a red light, you'll feel the car.
Oh yeah, I had a Mercedes, when I had my Mercedes
Uh-huh.
car, it would like turn off.
And it's an awful
And
feeling
like,
at first. It's hard to get used to.
At first when I
Yeah.
got it, I was like, what's going on? And then,
But going back to that, maybe talking to the right person, I don't know who's in traffic, but get those lights to blink. You know, the ones on 59 and the loop, get them to blink after a certain hour.
Yeah.
Or, they don't go red and green till 6 a.m. in the morning, and at 8 o'clock they blink. They
Right.
blink all night, and
It's too easy to do it.
I mean, it just makes so much
What
sense to
department
do
is
that. Was traffic,
traffic is.
Yeah.
but it's all involved with the environment because you're
Right,
sitting.
right,
I mean,
right.
if
No,
you go
yeah.
down 59, you'll see what I mean. Now there's probably 6 lights now, and there was
Right.
only 1 2 years
No,
ago
no,
or
no.
3 years ago. And it's just like, why not just blink them at 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
You know,
It is text dot though. That's actually
59 would be text on.
yeah on the state highways they remain controllable.
So they decide the length of time on
Well, somebody's got to be able to have some kind of.
Communication with them.
Responsive to the citizen.
I mean, if we
the,
ask them,
communicate to do it.
Communicate
text
with them.
Yeah.
there's no sense in turning the little turn light. There's a little turn light coming, I guess, when you're going on the loop, going south, and there's traffic trying to turn on Sinatra. Well, it turns green and everybody has to stop again. It turns red for the 2 cars to turn left,
And then the airport, at the airport.
And the airport's pathetic. I mean, after 8, why stop them after 8 o'clock? Why stop 50 cars for 1 car coming out of the Dollar Tree, or the airport,
It is a loop.
or the
It is a loop. What is it?
It's a loop.
Right.
And now there's a neighborhood called the Loop.
Right.
Called the Loop.
Loop for a
It's
reason.
called the Loop.
Did you see the letter to the editor, I guess 2 weeks ago? Oh, it's so wonderful they did that overpass to Walmart and everything, but now they've got 3 more lights over here.
Yeah.
So the same people that are stopping over there are now having to stop over here at the airport. It doesn't make any sense. But it is what it is. I think we should try to get a.
There's a project to put overpasses in all of them.
On all of them?
Yeah, they're just doing one and
One
then
at a time.
Right.
They said there were-
they have entertained. You're gonna say that right? They have entertained scrapping the overpasses.
Another one is coming out
They
of.
said that they were gonna use the money on frontage roads or
Yeah,
something.
well, the frontage roads first. So we'll see.
But when they didn't get funded by the state, did that impact, or was it?
The way it works, that they have funding programs for the overpasses already. It's like $97 million.
So that money that we didn't get funded this year
That's
for,
a different thing.
and that was for a totally different project, not these overpasses.
But they propose switching the money from the overpass projects over to building the frontage roads first, like in Cuatro Vientos, places like that, where you have the outside part first, and you come back and build the overpasses later. But I don't know.
So that money that we didn't get would have been designated for,
I think it was for extra lanes somewhere. I can't remember.
so for the internal structure, not anything to do
On the
with,
loop.
nothing on the loop.
Yeah, that's the loop, right?
The money that they were talking about that we did funded was for something else. I'm not sure what it was though. But I think it was related to adding lanes somewhere, maybe on 35 or I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should work on the aluminum thing and and then the traffic
And
stuff.
Going back to
the item is the air pollution that you're talking about.
I mean, there's tons and tons of them.
That
Just the
item,
energy wasted to stop 100 cars. For one car, it's just, it's not worth it.
what we could probably do is ask,
Thank you.
we can ask for staff to check on whatever information you can get us on pricing of aluminum, whether or not it's trended. You know, if on a national level it's going upward all the time, that's what we hear on the news.
That's what I'm thinking.
We gotta find out why is our price not right down here, what is it in San Antonio, let's figure it out. And then the other one would be,
Is it really the monopoly?
the tech,
I think it is.
the tech stuff deals kind of simple, like they can pretty easily, on those ones that are by themselves, put them on some kind of a system where they, at certain times of the day, do different
Right,
things.
that little thing that you go over.
Right.
Right.
They actually used to,
determine it very
when I was 20 years ago, I'd see it a lot. I mean, the lights would just blink yellow all the time after
On
8 o'clock.
Clark.
On Clark was one of the
Clark
main
was
ones.
one of the big ones because it was like,
Yeah.
there's like 5 lights right there, and it was back to back, and after
At
6,
6 it would start,
yeah.
and at 7 or 8
Clark is the
it
one I remember
would
specifically.
just blink, and nobody would have to stop on them right away. And there's enough breaks in traffic where you can turn left or right, coming out of the neighborhoods.
So like, the other thing, so the two issues are the price.
What's going on with the price of aluminum on the Laredo?
The
It's not
second
worth
is.
Is
communicating
the
with
waste of
Texas.
energy of, the vehicles
Yeah.
and the emissions into the, every time you gas it from 0 to 60, it's gonna create a lot of, emission problems.
What I remember reading somewhere was that it was against the law to leave your car idling. Because I remember that specifically.
I was surprised when I saw that in New York, that newscast. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think that was possible. But it's probably, I don't know if it's federal law or is it just state law.
What did they say on the New York thing?
It was just a state law.
That you can't leave your car idling.
You can't leave, and the main people it's FedEx and it's UPS and FedEx. They leave their trucks running, and they run up to the buildings.
They can afford to pay whatever
And
citizen
they
supports them.
But every citizen that was given and I think there's a couple of people that give handicap tickets here in Laredo that are citizens. So I bet you they would jump on that. Same guys, they're making money giving
I
those.
think there used to be a program, I'm not sure if they still have that program, but I know that there was.
I mean, I don't leave my truck idling because I don't want it stolen, to be honest with you. But it's going to be mainly oil field people that are going to get
Right.
on that,
Yes.
And they're used to leaving their trucks running all day. All day, they don't shut them down. They just let them run all
No one's
day.
gonna leave it idling in the
Boss
mall,
is paying
except for my mother.
anyway. I get in my truck, it's going to be nice, cool.
My mother one time went into the mall for an hour and a half and forgot to turn the car off.
Yeah.
She got back to the car and she's like, "Where are my keys?"
In the car.
The ignition.
Yeah, that happens.
Oh, yeah. Only to my mother.
I don't leave my truck idling.
And so
All
who's
right.
who communicates this higher up?
On
Or
what?
to laterally to the other departments in charge? of
Gotta
this
be
or-
problem brought up.
Normally what happens is if we develop an issue in here
Mhm.
and we want
Goes
to
to
do
council.
something with it, we send something over to council on it.
Let them decide on
They
it.
can do whatever they want after that, we don't really have any authority over anybody.
We're here to bring in ideas to the council to see if
So
we
the
can.
council lets the other departments know?
Yeah.
Well, what they would do is, if it was something that required an ordinance, like, the plastic bag deal, the way that happened, for example, was that somebody from council asked this group to look into how to develop one.
Right.
So we got one from somewhere else and we worked on it, changed it a little bit for Laredo as best we could.
I kind of get it. I was with the smoking ordinance. It took us, non-smoking ordinance, it took us 7 years.
It still goes back to them, though, even if another group like us works on it,
Yeah.
they ultimately pass
I
it.
remember, yeah. But even like these little ideas, because then it has to come in, it becomes ordinance with, but the price, no. I mean, that, you'll find out.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, it's a private business, but
That's like a research item.
Yeah.
We can ask them to get information to
And the
us.
traffic one?
Same kind of deal.
I can ask the traffic if we can, on the next meeting, I can give you all the.
It's more like we're asking for information, kind of let them know we're thinking of something.
It's very important.
Now, they may show up,
It's
there's
already
already
in law.
traffic, and
No,
tell
no,
us
no.
what they can do. They may explain that they can talk to TxDOT or how to do it or whatever.
And then my curiosity is, okay, so now the ball is on traffic's lap because it's a traffic thing, but it's also an emissions issue. So we could also, if traffic says, no, we're not gonna do anything about it, as an environmental group, we could say, well, we do want to,
No, we as council.
come up with
Yeah.
ordinance and present that to council.
Right, right.
Okay.
Right. If we don't have something covered.
It makes life easy when things flow. It's so frustrating to stop. You're like, oh god, that's 60. Traffic's actually going 60 today? Oh, red light.
Trying to be anywhere else in the country. LA.
Oh,
you know.
God, no.
My sister comes down from Miami and goes to like Target and Walmart because it takes her 10 minutes. She does, in Miami it's an hour and a half for her on each one. Well, so for next meeting, we'll follow up on these items.
Right, the deal here,
It's all Bronson.
Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, that it says, this rule limits the idling of heavy-duty vehicles within the jurisdiction of any local government that has signed a memorandum of agreement with the GCDQ for the local enforcement of the state's motor vehicle idling limitations. And then down at the bottom, it's got the list of cities that have signed, and Laredo's not on there.
See, that's interesting. That there's something that it's already there for us.
It's already there.
It's already, that's something that we either Laredo is informed of or hasn't cared enough about.
It hasn't been brought up.
It sounds like it would be as easy as council signing parts of memorandum.
It's already law.
Which really is the same thing as them passing an ordinance.
Right.
It's just the difference.
But if it's just the ordinance already there, we can just kind of
It's already there.
jump on it.
Sign in.
Yeah, I mean, they even showed it on that pink.
But they were having to get like a minute of video of the truck idling.
I know downtown it's a lot. All the delivery trucks. If they come and they deliver stuff to me, they leave the truck out.
I mean, their truck idling.
On the plastic, going back to the plastic, this is what I was talking about, is those rings. To get the ring and then cut it.
Oh yeah.
Because you'll
Turtles,
have...
ducks.
Yes, and it's terrible. Look at that poor bird,
Mm-hmm.
And there's a mallard, and then you've got, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
So...
Those are like the 6-pack rings and stuff like that.
Yeah, like even this one,
Mhm.
I'll cut it.
I sent it this page from TCEQ to John Porter.
Okay.
And,
So the rays are on there.
Mhm.
I'll follow up.
there's not that many cities in there. I can send you a copy if you give me your email address.
Sure. It's T King, T-K-I-N-G,
K-I-N-G.
K-I-N-G, at ci.laredo.tx.us.
That's the first step. I want to get the community comps, the people reporting. Once that hopefully
Because you have to be
on the list.
You have to be careful about that too, though. Like community cops, because if someone approaches you and claiming to write you a ticket, we're not as accepting, unless you have a badge or something like that.
Yeah.
I got caught once in my own parking lot, parked in the handicap. It was the day off. It was a day that there was nobody working in the building. So I said, I'll just park here, run upstairs, and by the time I got home, it was already a ticket. $1,000 ticket.
We're not as accepting as in whom.
Like if you were to approach me,
It was a guy.
I'm writing you a ticket because your car's out of leak.
I would-
I'm going to tell you where to put the
Oh,
ticket.
no. You mean
The
they
guy that gave me the
have to
ticket was a
report
guy
you?
in a Hawaiian shirt,
I'm just saying,
and shorts,
Really?
Oh.
smoking a cigarette.
Really?
Yes.
A private citizen?
Yes.
Wow. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I was pretty upset about it, but what do you do? Actually, it was a $500 ticket, and down there up to $1,000.
But sometimes, and you're right, because people can get
I
really
won't park there
irate.
again.
Oh, yeah.
Irate. And,
So am I.
yeah, but you've got to do it.
Oh, no.
Even if you park on the sidewalk now, though, even if your tire's a little on the sidewalk.
Oh my goodness. So downtown, if I park on the street, I've seen the parking enforcement people try to put their foot in between my tire and the sidewalk,
What?
Okay, so
Oh my
if
God.
you're along the sidewalk
Right.
and they could put their foot between your car and the sidewalk, you get a ticket. Between the curb and your tire.
You have to be touching the curb?
No, you have to be so far close to the curb.
Really?
Yeah, so I see them walk around the cars like this.
I always try to get as close as
I
possible.
didn't
Because
know.
if they could put their foot, if they could put their foot in between the curb and the tire, you get a ticket for parking
I would
too
have thought it
far.
was a little more space.
Why? They don't want us.
They don't want you too far out of the street.
Well, that's why we try to park
Also,
closer.
they,
Yes, but if that's what I'm saying, if you're
They-
too far out, they
they
can
need
put their
money.
foot there. They write you a ticket.
they need the money.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
That's probably part of it.
But, you know, through the years, you start learning about people's aggression, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Been doing the animal rescues, I remember you would I would do the costume contest with, and Mr. Gonzalez put his dogs there, I think he won, right, I don't remember. But, people get really irritated, there's a dog tethered, no shade,
Oh, I
no
hate,
water,
no,
no food.
don't get me involved with dogs.
dying and crying.
I'm taking that dog.
So, well, and so then, you know, I have to tell them, and I'll usually call animal control and
Yeah.
police, but sadly, well, the PD was like,
Yeah.
indifferent, but you know what, then you learn as a citizen that you have to tell them, and all these aggressions,
Yeah.
and so you just learn, you know, you stay out of their property, you just stay a distance, and you say, well, I understand, but I already called KGNS.
Right.
Do you want me to call when you get something? You know, and they back off. So, but some others can be pretty crazy.
No, sure.
But you have to be willing to do it. You can't be afraid. You can't say, we can't do it because we're not accepting, but I know,
Oh, absolutely.
I know you're right.
Yeah. No, absolutely, you're right.
I know you're right. But I'm one of those that's willing to do it. Crazy now.
All righty. Well, we've got 2 items. Anybody want to add anything else?
Yeah, the aluminum, I mean, I don't know, maybe the city collects the aluminum and, I mean, I guess they keep the profit, they give the aluminum to the city. But maybe they can put on the recycling website the list of the different companies that accept aluminum and how much they pay, or something like that. Or maybe they can have a program where instead of donating the aluminum to the city, you can sell it to the city, and maybe since they have this big recycling program, maybe they can afford to pay more than the other companies. I don't know.
I think Scott Wilkinson is a good friend of mine. I mean, but it upsets me that I did all that all year long, saved all that aluminum.
Get the odor. All those Coke bottles.
Altruism.
It's just not right. And I'm pretty sure he's the only game in town. That's why it's gone down so much.
No, there's another company. It's been a while since I've been to, and now I have a shit ton of cans because I haven't been.
Don't even think, just wait.
I think it was on a Saturday, and all their recycling places were closed except for this one. And it was that day that I wanted to get rid of them. I got very little money, so I haven't sold my cans in a long time. I'm very huge mess of cans.
But that's a good idea. Maybe the city's willing. I don't know how.
When it was 68 cents a pound, it was kind of worth it, but whatever the math is, 100 pounds for $17.
We just need to figure out is the business owner specifically the person who sets the price, and if so, is the price that far off from other cities around us? And if that's the case, that's something
I
we
would
need to
bet the
address.
answer is yes and yes.
Yeah, I'm assuming it is too.
And you got the monopoly, you know.
Why not? I'd like that beach house over there at Port Aramis too.
Well, Mr. Vargas, do you have a motion for us? Motion to adjourn.
All right, we're adjourned.
Are we done?